Hello, bonjour, Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute.
Hello, bonjour, Alberta, and welcome everyone, including other Canadians who may be watching this today. We're having a national conversation on bilingualism, and we have with us our co-host, Marc Lalonde.
Hi, Anne.
Hi, Marc. And also someone who has come from Haiti 14 years ago, Philippe Pierre.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to have you with us. And we're also talking with Jacques de Courville Nicol, who is the coordinator for the national movement to officially make Ottawa a bilingual capital city in Canada. Hello, Jacques.
Hello, everybody. By the way, thank you, Shaw TV, for making this happen. Dialogue is the basis of unity in Canada, and I think that Shaw is playing a great role in making that possible. So thank you.
Okay. Maybe we'll start with asking everyone a little bit to tell us about their background, and because we all come from a different corner of Canada. And maybe I'll start with Marc.
Well, I'm closest to home here. I'm born in Assiniboia, Saskatchewan. I spent my childhood in a francophone village called Saint-Victor, which is just a bit south of there. That's all south of Moose Jaw and all those great Saskatchewan names. I went to school in Willowbunch, and then to high school at Collège Mathieu in Gravelbourg, and finished my undergrad in Saint-Boniface in Manitoba. So I'm really a product of Western Canada. I moved to Calgary almost 35 years ago, so I'm more Calgarian than anything else, I guess. But I'm proud to be a bilingual Canadian, and I didn't have to be Québécois to do that.
That's awesome. And Philippe, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, actually, I moved in Calgary 14 years ago. I'm from Haiti. I'm originally from Haiti, and I've been living here for the past 14 years, I can say, and trying to adapt still with the cold weather, but and still trying to keep my, French background and be able to work on both of them, I will say.
And you learned English here in Canada?
Yes, when I moved here, actually, I had to go to school to learn English. I didn't know anything about English before I moved here. I only spoke French, so yeah, that was quite an experience.
So when they say that for a French person to learn English, it's almost like catching a cold. Did you think that was true?
I think I will say that was difficult because from someone who only spoke French for all his life and moving here, that was tough. But I did pass that, and now I'm glad that I can speak both of them, and I think that's really nice, actually.
Good, good. And for you, Jacques, what is your background?
Well, very simply, I was born in Outremont in Quebec from a family where my grandfather was a Scotsman, spoke many languages. My grandmother was a French Canadian, spoke French and English. She was Catholic, he was Protestant. So we had great discussions when I was young. I moved to Ontario when I was around 9 years old, and I've been in Ontario since. I learned English in Ontario, And I've learned it with friends growing up through high school, university, and so on. And so my roots are really very Canadian, or very Quebec and Ontario. I traveled to the West. I traveled everywhere in Canada, so I'm very familiar with the country. And I love Canada. I'm a federalist, I'm a liberal, and I'm a promoter of the two official languages of Canada.
Thank you, thank you. And just to tell you a little bit about my background, I was born and raised in Quebec City, and which is where I also learned English, believe it or not. There was one school, I think back then, that where you could, an English school, it was American, as a matter of fact, where you can learn English, and this is where I learned English in, I think, grade 6. My dad decided it was important for me to know English and sent me there. And I did my university in Ottawa, so, which at that time I also thought was a bilingual city, but not. And moved out here in Calgary about 30 years ago, but I have always had the opportunity to work in both official languages, which is really good. Otherwise, I'm not sure that the French that I have would be as good now after 30 years here in Alberta. So let's talk a little bit about why is it that some people, Jacques, think that Ottawa is bilingual already? And we're having this huge movement across the country to make it officially so.
Well, I think it's an historical development. The Fathers' Confederation, 1867, recommended that Ottawa, a particular Parliament and the Supreme Court and the Senate of Canada, in fact, all the institutions of the federal government, recognize equally both official languages, in those days French and English, and provide them with equal status, rights, and privileges. This moved on throughout the history of Canada until perhaps 1963, when there were tensions between the province of Quebec and the rest of Canada, the ROC, and then the Honorable Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson decided he had to answer the call of Canadians and meet their request and provide a better platform for the unity of this country. Trudeau followed through with the Official Languages Act in 1969 and made the two languages of Canada, of the founding people of Canada, at least the founding, constitutionally founding people, excuse me, made this, excuse me, this principle into law. Then he also put together the B&B Commission in 1963, and its final report, Book 5, the Federal Capital of Canada, the B&B Commission made its first recommendation was that not every village and villages and provinces, etc., would be bilingual in Canada, but that certainly the national capital of the country would officially or be officially bilingual. And this was discussed in Parliament, it was discussed throughout the country, it was discussed provincially, and eventually the government changed and things changed, and the Quebec government felt impatient, and we had the turbulent 1960, and eventually the language of the land, or the languages of the land, made some inroads throughout Canada. So that we have today, thanks to groups like the Canadian Parents for French and so on, large organizations throughout the country that are promoting a better understanding, equal rights, and so on, for the Francophones and the Anglophones of this country, who are the constitutional founder of Canada. So this goes on. The 1982 constitutional paper and the Charter of Rights and Freedom, Canadian Rights and Freedom, also recommended and recognized for Francophiles as Anglophones that have become bilingual, and they are promoting the development of the official recognition of French and English in the National Capital of Canada.
So, and sorry for interrupting.
Go on.
Yeah. So, have you had like problems with the municipal government trying to make Ottawa bilingual, or why isn't it bilingual already, officially bilingual?
Well, I think most of the country believes that the national capital of the country is officially bilingual. However, it's not. There are roughly 16% of the public servants at the City Hall that are Francophone. The language of work within the municipal government is largely English. The French language is being used intermittently, depending on the will of the governance or the acting council. And so we are basically at the mercy of the political will of changing municipal councils. So we've been disappointed in the past by mayors that have chosen to ignore the existence of French. And so in Ottawa, where we represent 20% of the population, and where over 40% of the population is officially bilingual or recognizes and understands and speaks and works in both official languages, we find that it's great time, or perfect time, before the celebration of the 150th anniversary of Confederation, that this capital of our country would give the example and recognize officially the existence, the presence, and the contribution of the Francophone who have been in this country for over 400 years.
And do you have Mayor Watson's support?
Mayor Watson is a good politician. He's a friend. He's a good liberal, by the way. I know there's not too many of you guys out there, but I'll tell you, he is, I think, trying to come to grips with this issue. I don't think he's a forever and ever type of guy. I think he's a reasonable guy. He's an excellent politician. And I think he's basically trying to make this situation either go away or develop slowly. And, you know, after 50 years, I think you can't blame the Francophone for asking a little bit more speed in putting the capital up to speed in a country such as ours. We have had signals from Quebec, frustrations from Quebec, frustrations from Francophone minorities across the country. And we think that it's only fair and it's good government for the national capital of a bilingual country to be also officially bilingual. I think Jim will come to reason, I hope, because he's not an unreasonable guy. And as a good politician, I think he'll be reading in this crystal ball that maybe times are ready for a better Canada and a fairer country.
That's good. And if people want to support your movement, can they write to you, Jacques?
Oh, absolutely. The easiest way, of course, for the virtually minded people is to write to the email at NORACOM, NORACOM, small 2, at Rogers, sorry for the competition, Shaw, it's not meant with any kind of bad feelings, .com. So it's NORACOM2 at Rogers.com. And the others who want to write, well, it's 50 Rothwell Drive, Ottawa, K1J 7G6.
Jacques, it was a pleasure to speak with you today. I thank you very much for spending some time with us all the way from Ottawa. Merci à Philippe, and thank you, Marc, also for joining us in this bilingualism conversation. And stay with us, please. We will continue en français.